to share the Talkbox secrets or to not? That is the question. Hey, how's it going? It's Martin Ross, and today we're going to talk about the Talkbox secrets. Before we get into it, as a content creator, I don't make any money from this, and I do ask that you help me out, support me. Check out those links in the description. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Also, if you've searched and found this video, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that way you get updates straight to your device, because the majority of people that are watching this, probably you, haven't subscribed. So please do so. Also, if you know somebody that likes a Talkbox, hit the share button. Help the algorithm, put my video to the top so that way I can continue making good content to you all and have more time to do so. So let's talk about this. A basic overview of the Talkbox is this is what we call a compression driver or a speaker. If you've seen speakers, loud speakers, you've probably seen this gigantic horn, right? At the back of the gigantic horn is this speaker, right? Now, it looks different because I took off the filter and I put a metal nipple on there. Essentially, this is your horn driver. This is the sound that comes out of there. So the basics of the Talkbox is, now that you have the nipple in there, you plug the tube in there, and whatever sound device that's going from the sound device to the amp to the speaker goes through this tube. And now you talk into the mic. Biggest issue that I've had, the biggest question I've had is, where do I plug my XLR, TRS, TS, my cable into vocal sounds? You're not gonna get that. The vocal sounds are right here. It's like me talking to you through this mic or this camera. I'm using the tube. You're mouthing the words into a mic. That's how it works. So that is like my number one question. So remember, the Talkbox, you use a mic, nothing else. Not the mic that goes to the microcord. That's a vocoder, completely different. We're talking Talkbox only. Again, Talkbox, you use a mic, whether it's a handheld mic, condenser mic, dynamic mic, you use a mic like this. Boom. What do I have in front of me? I have two types of Talkboxes, and I want to talk to you the history of the Talkboxes that I've used. There's other Talkboxes out there. This is what I use. So I want to talk about the Radio Shack amp first. So this is my very first Talkbox. It's still the first Talkbox. What you're seeing right now are my very first Talkboxes from 2004. In 2004, there wasn't a Rocktron Banshee available. There wasn't really Talkboxes available for you to buy. The internet wasn't as big as it is now. YouTube wasn't popping like it is now. So information was really sparse. And I was going through forums, reading stuff that they use a Radio Shack amp. Radio Shack was like McDonald's. They were on every corner. So the accessibility of the amps were available to get these if they broke down. So that's why I purchased one of these, because I know I want to follow Roger Troutman. I want to do everything he does. I want to have his sound. But he used a special compression driver. I don't know the name of it, but it's very hard to find. And if you do find it, it's probably super expensive on eBay. So I went with the best thing I could, and I found a compression driver that matched what I was looking for. What I was looking for was 16 ohms, 40 watts. That's what this is. You can use 4 ohms, you can use 8 ohms, you can use 16 ohms, and that's what the Radio Shack amp would do. It was very, very, very a useful tool to have. And 40 watts to me is all you truly need. There are people that use 80, there are people who use 100. Essentially, if you're going to Talkbox, you're going to be talking into a mic, and that's going to be amplified. I personally don't see the need of that, but if you want to go with 80 or 100, fine. If you're doing small venues and they don't have mics and you want to be super loud, go with that. But you can definitely feel the power of the 180 watts. I promise you. So Rocktron Banshee comes along. Why did I do that? I have these Talkboxes here. Now, these Talkboxes, the ones that I built, they are super sturdy. They last. I've had them forever. You could see, I don't know if you can see this one, I beat to heck because it would go on shows with me everywhere. But I have a dilemma. Well, I got to record, then I got to travel, right? Well, what happens if this gets damaged in my recordings? Dang, dude, I don't want to have, a bad Talkbox sound. So I got the Rocktron Banshee. They were cheap. They were like about 150. So, and you can go to any Guitar Center, right? And you can get them. So I bought it. I was like, it's all right. it does what it needs to do. It travels, and I take it everywhere with me. The pros about it, so I got this cable here that goes into a power strip, and the amp is built into it. So that's all it is. There's no big lugging things like this around. And at first, people thinking, it's just being this on a plane. Is that a bomb? No, it's not a bomb. So that was the biggest thing. And this was just, a great tool to move around. Downside is that it's not that loud. And if it does loud, it introduces noises. As you can see, I don't know if you can hear the noise, but it gets noisy. There's only one tone knob. As you can see in the Radio Shack amp, there's multiple knobs to adjust. So that way, when you create a Talkbox patch or a sound, you can be able to tone it to make it sound a little bit better coming out of the speaker. Again, these speakers, another thing, these speakers are mono. So playing stereo sounds into a mono, you're going to get distortion. If you like distortion, that's fine. Go with it. Personally, I don't. My goal of the Talkbox is to make a computer sounding thing sound synthesized like a human voice. That's the goal of the Talkbox for me. For others, they just want that digital sound. Fine, go with that. But again, these speakers are mono, not stereo. There's no two speakers in there. There's just one speaker. You're getting one sound. The nipple part. What's up with that? Well, again, as I showed you earlier, it's for the tube. Now, when you buy this, when you bought these two, you just had the filter. You didn't put the tube in there. You got to have a way to hold the tube. For the Rocktron Banshee, there was a piece of plastic, was stock tube. Personally, I got my tube at, you can go to Ace, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to Home Depot. This is a vinyl tubing. I picked black, obviously, so you don't see the spit. I do have white ones, clear ones, or whatever. There's people online that sell them in colors, which is cool. Black is my go-to. So with that being said, think about noise dispersal. Think about bleeding, leaking, right? What is that? Well, just like water, if you have a hole or a puncture or, a basketball, the air goes out, right? You want to keep the air in, right? The pressure in. Sound works the same way. What happens is when you put your tube in there, which came with the Rocktron Banshee, it was bleeding. Or like I was hearing a lot of the sound in this area more than I was hearing in the tube. So what I decided to do was go in and get a nipple and kind of screw it in there. Now, my first choice was metal. So you're wondering why there's metal and plastic. Well, I'll tell you. But there was a special type of plastic that I used. I used a more thicker, harder, not the clearer plastic, because it had more density to it. It made sure that whatever the sound that was coming out, it was focused out of this hole. The best test that I could tell you is play something through your Talkbox, put your thumb over it. If it deadens the noise, you're in a good spot. If it bleeds out on the sides, then you have issues. What I did have an issue. So what I did was I used what we call plumber's tape. It's this white plumber's tape, and I wrapped it along the nipple and I sealed it in there. So it's sealed in there pretty tight. The only way to get it out is to screw this open and then push it out from the other end with a hammer. So you want it in there nice and tight. And again, the best test is put your thumb over, and if it's dead, then you know you're getting direct sound. That is the secret. You hear me? That's the secret. That's where you get the clarity. If you have less sound, it's less clear. More sound, more clear, you can shape it. On this, why is this one bigger than this? Well, same concept. Now, again, this is not all the way in because it's really thick metal. It's the same size as this, but this is a thicker metal. Now, what I have is a half. So this thread is a half and 3/8. Thread is a half, 3/8. This is a half and a half. Now, the reason being is I prefer the half through practice is because there's more sound. It's a lot louder. I don't have to crank the volume as much with the bigger tube. And again, because it's a thicker metal is way better because it seals the sound, right? This is sealed so tight in there, I couldn't even go any further. But I put my thumb in there, dead sound. That is the goal. All right. So let's hear what they sound like. First things first, I prefer TRS. TRS is a balanced cable, so it will help eliminate noise. Now, you might go into places where the ground isn't good and you get a buzz. This helps eliminate noises. I always go into the mono, and I go into mic 1 on here. So output of whatever source you have, input of your amp. One side is your resistance, the other side is your power. This is my ohms. This is my power. I prefer these compression drivers because they have the knobs that I can twist and it locks down on the cable. And I prefer that because I'm moving this around and I don't want to solder nothing. I just want to be able to take these off and put them away when I'm done. So now I have my Talkbox set up. I have my inputs plugged in. I have my speaker cable to the Talkbox. I have my positive and my negative terminals plugged in. I do have my tube on. It's not all the way in. Usually when you get a new tube, you boil it. You can check the video out, link in the description on that playlist. And it'll go all the way down and it'll fit and it'll seal. I'm still getting nice quality sound, so you can hear this. And the sound is pretty strong coming through this tube. I do prefer my, when I record, I use this Talkbox. When I go live, I use my Banshee. So the sound is nice and clear and nice. And when I feel it, it comes out pretty powerful through the tube. So let's hear what it sounds like on the Banshee. Same concept. I have my input here, my power here. I have my tube on the nipple. Boom, tube's coming out. And I can change my tone, kind of make it more lighter. Let's put it in the middle. Come on, come on, come on. The reason why I don't blast this too loud is typically you'll get that noise. Not great for recording, but it's great for using live. And not many people are going to really hear that. There you have it. That is the Talkbox Secrets. Hopefully I answered some of your questions there. Again, as a content creator, I make no money from this. So please check out the links in the description. Help me out by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, subscribe, click the bell, and share this video to someone that you know might be interested in talkboxing. So this was Martin Ross. Y'all take care.